Yo, it's Sway.
Sway.
Sway. Sway.
Sway. Sway.
Sway.
In the morning.
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 Only on Shade 45.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Yeah. Bitches.
David Hasselhoff is here, legend.
Sway me. Sway me.
Hoff me. 14 minutes into the hour. Interesting enough, you and I are going to be hanging out in Frankfurt, Germany this weekend at the EMAs, right? So,
yeah. I'll be the backstage Twitter man. I'm going to be hoffing people. You know, I can get into any situation I want. Last time I was there, I had a lot of fun. It was pretty irreverent, and turns out that all these cats like Bruno Mars and LMFAO were all coming after me, and I had my little camera with me. I said, "Oh, you want to take a little picture?" And we ended up tweeting, and so MTV called me and said, "Would you be the tweet master?" And I said, "Tweetmeister." I said, sure. Besides, I had a little single over there called Looking for Freedom that went number one for 8 weeks. So I got a special affinity to Germany. So I'm coming to town.
Your people don't realize how big your music career has been for you, right? Where have you made the most money, in music or in film?
Actually, Baywatch residuals are paying the rent, but it really all started in Germany because I had a single called Looking for Freedom. And at the same time, the Berlin Wall came down when my song was number one, and all the people from East Germany said they knew me as the guy who sang for freedom, and they were singing it on the wall, and they were singing it in English. And if you know anything about the Cold War, the Germans weren't allowed to speak English. They weren't allowed to watch Knight Rider. They actually have stories of people with garbage can tops taking in a satellite signal to watch Knight Rider in East Germany before the wall came down.
Wow.
And because the wall came down November 9th, 1989, Knight Rider was 82 to 86. And so I was able to go in there through Checkpoint Charlie and meet people. And they say, how do you know me? You know my show about the talking car? And they said, no, talking car. They thought I was nuts. They said, no, you're the guy who sings of freedom. I've been looking for freedom. So that song is still kind of a national institution over there, and it was a big deal for me to play over there, and an honor. And I ended up with like 30 gold and platinum records from over there.
30 gold and platinum records.
Yes.
Do you feel a certain pressure of a responsibility now? I mean, you just came in wanting to be an entertainer. Yeah. And now, you're this guy that these people revere in South Africa and in Germany. And, you're this iconic figure that's been so important to a lot of our lives and childhoods. You was just acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that you, do you realize that? Do you take that in? And do you feel a certain responsibility having this?
Well, there's a definite responsibility. And I'm the first guy that says when I mess up, I get up and I say, hey, man, it's about it's not falling down. It's how fast you get up. You know, that's what heroes are about. You know, if you realize you got a problem, you deal with it. And I think people know that about me. Because I mean, you either have a good heart or you don't. And my dad and my mom always taught me respect and love people and reach out. And I loved it when I was in Zimbabwe, and the cover of the Zimbabwe News was Knight Rider's in town. It wasn't David Hasselhoff, it was Knight Rider. And there's a woman who comes in and lives probably in a small little shack, and she's waiting tables or she's like the room service. And her name is Happiness. And her friend's name is Purity and Loveness, and they're so nice. They give me so much smiles and so much love that there's a responsibility to give that back. And if I can do that, it's your obligation to do that, because God gave me Knight Rider, I think, for a reason. So that I can go around the world and say, hey, it is cool to be a celebrity. It's a great life. We are blessed to be on the radio. We're blessed to have an audience that we can actually change someone's life by just signing an autograph or taking a picture, or smiling at them. And those people come, and when I'm in my head, and I'm sitting at home going, oh, I wish I had a new series. I wish I was James Bond. Oh, yeah, I don't have a hit. I go out to the pharmacy, and someone, I love you, man. And I say, hey, you know what? Thanks. You just took me out of my head. I love that. I mean, I was over here on Columbus and 67th Street. It was like midnight. I was walking to the store. I was hungry. And there's a homeless guy out there, and he goes, hey, Knight Rider, I'm not going to ask for any money. I just want to tell you I love you.
Man,
and I went, wow. It's snowing. He's freezing. And he's got something nice to say to me, and now that's what it's about.
That's what and it's interesting because we found out that you're human too. We've seen you talk about some of the mistakes you made, and you've been in news over the years for some controversial acts, videos, and with you yelling at your daughter or whatever. I have a daughter.
I wasn't yelling at my daughter.
You didn't yell
she
at
was
her.
yelling at me.
Oh, yeah, she was yelling at you.
but she had a right to yell at me because she was concerned.
Yeah.
The thing is that you need people in your life to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The people that aren't with us, the people that die, the people that don't get it, or they don't have anybody that love them enough to say stop. This is not cool. That's what you need. You need people to tell you the truth. And I tell my daughters, you can do what you want. Here's the truth. This is what's going to happen if you do that.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen if you do this.
Yeah.
And you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to say no, and I'll always be there for you, but there are consequences for your actions, and so that's all.
And the best people to yell at you are your daughters.
That's right.
You don't feel the same way. Like,
Yeah.
homie, right?
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff is here, ladies and gentlemen. Any question you have, he has a few minutes left with us, and I want to make sure that you guys know he has a new movie that's coming out on Lifetime. It's called The Christmas Consultant. It's coming on November 10th, Saturday. It's going to be a world premiere at 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Chris in Seattle got one of the most important questions a person can ask. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, David? I just want to say first off, it's a flat-out honor to be on the phone with you. And like everyone, like a lot of people listening, I'm at the age group where Baywatch came on when I was, a teenager, maybe a little younger, and I just have a question. Indulge me. Please say something happened on the set of Baywatch with you and any of those Baywatch babes.
Every day we go to work and all the girls would be out on the sand and they all had towels on, and then maybe 50 of them, and then the assistant director would say rolling. And I love that word. 'Cause when he said rolling, all the girls took off their towels and stood and posed in that Baywatch pose. And I said, God, this is the best job ever. And it lasted 11 years. And no, there was a lot going on. There was a lot of rocking and rolling, especially when Pamela, you had no idea who Pamela was going to bring to the set.
Wow.
But they used to kind of walk by. The good thing is, to be honest, for me, I was married at the time, because if I wasn't married, I'd probably be dead. But they used to walk by my motorhome and just stand there. Hi, now, hi. And I'm going, oh my God, get them away.
They was trying to give it to you.
Yeah, well, luckily the water was cold and kept us men, righteous. But no, you know what? It was a great show and a fun show, and the funny part about it is we always used to get all this press about being sexist. We never had anybody go to bed together on the show. Yeah. It was just about heroes and good-looking girls in bathing suits.
All right. You never banged out anybody.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.